got to consider the fact that I lost train of thought. You got to consider the fact that they're based on different engines and they're based on different eras. But in my opinion, Armored Warfare looks better from our tanks. It is much better. It's a much nicer pace for me. It's just you can be far more aggressive and active in it, and you don't get. You stretch yourself too far, you get wrecked. But you can be aggressive.
They've definitely nailed the fact that the modern tank is a more mobile vehicle. You do have decent frontal armor, but if you can get behind an MBT, they are very, very weak.
Yes. Did you want to ask any more questions about what we were just talking about, or does anyone else got any questions? Well, to say these questions I'll put forward to the higher ups at MyCom, or they can just watch the video back if they want to and get bored with it. But yeah, there's some very interesting questions. No, not bored. I mean bored of us, not the questions, but I can.
It's page in the Google Docs, so I think people are interested, and we've got 47 people watching the stream. So thank you very much, everyone.
Yes,
do give us all your follows.
We are Brit Pack, and we are not one streamer. We are a lot of streamers combined to answer your questions
we are
and have
Groot.
fun. Yes.
I just timed we are Legion then.
Yeah, we are Legion.
Well,
yeah.
A bit of Mass Effect.
We're a community of streamers that has the best intentions for this game. We know it's a good game. We also appreciate there are bugs and issues with it, and we're not afraid to talk about those, even those of us that are semi-supported in certain regards by MyCom. You know, we want this game to succeed. I think all of us can happily and 100% say that because we love playing it.
Yeah.
Well, if you want a problem to be fixed, there's no point in saying it isn't a problem.
Exactly.
Because they're not going to fix it.
It's like a relationship. There's no point in lying. If there's a problem, say it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right, Teggy26 thinks the only thing better in World of Tanks is the population. Kisara453 says the balance for arties is actually good. I guess here. I mean, I think arty is a decent mechanic. Sigsa said he's spoken to many players over the time in Armored Warfare, has been out, and the one thing everyone agrees on that in this game you have fun and a good time from the day you start out in Tier 1.
Yeah.
I have to agree with that. Yeah,
same.
Definitely.
And that's what a game should be. The game should be fun first and then competitive second.
Grimloon says the community seems to be a lot less toxic in general, which is a plus for him. Now there is some toxicity, there is a lot of salt in the game, but I think it's definitely less than the other tank game.
Yeah.
And Galex Pat 500 says, "Hey guys, really good stream, grats." Yes.
Hey.
Thank you very much for that.
Cheers, Galeason, mate.
Wait, what stream is he watching?
Rewards play, win or lose. Full stop. You know, unlike the other tank game, you can have a great game and lose, and you get next to nothing. Whereas this game, if you have a good game, you do well, you get rewarded for it.
That's quite possibly what makes it feel like we're a lot faster at grinding this game. Is you're being rewarded to no end for your performance, not for your team's performance.
Yeah.
You get a bonus for your team winning. That's nice. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely one of the things that attracted me to this is being rewarded for my play, not having to pay stupid amounts of money for multiple garage slots, even though I want to have all the tanks. I mean, can you imagine how much money you have to spend in the other game to have all the tanks in your garage?
Well,
too much. It's 300 gold a slot, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And the premium ammo with that as well.
I think that's another thing that there's no such thing as premium ammo, because I have a KV4 in all the tanks, and it's never endingly annoying when people are like, oh, I was going to press the 2 key and get through your armor, which is all my tank has. Like, great. Why did I get this again?
Basically, going on, Sig says World of Tank maps are better in general than AW maps, in his opinion, with regards to the comparison issue. Yeah, I mean, I think map design is something they need to work on. It's a learning curve. And I think they've made personally a step forward in frontline. I know Sigs doesn't like frontline. I think it's too very samey and not a lot in it. But for me, I think that frontline is a superb map, and that's a great addition to the patch 0.17.
Yeah.
So any thoughts on map design comparing the two games?
I don't know. I think one thing, there seems to be a comparable size, but the thing is the view range is completely different.
I mean, the thing is also you've got to have that Wargaming with World of Tanks have been doing it for a bit longer than Obsidian, and I think that in the development cycle of where AW is now compared to where World of Tanks was at the same start of its cycle, I think AW is by far. Thanks. Yeah. I played World of Tanks for many years.
I think that half that is because they've had a good ground from all the tanks, so they know generally what they want to do. They've had the building, they've had the basic idea. They just need to tweak the design, which is why I think their progression is so much faster. But I think more to the point, they're being much more progressive with their audience, and that they're listening to us. When we say something's wrong, they actually do listen and actually consider if it is actually wrong and what they want to do to change it.
Yeah, and I think the other big difference is the player base now. The expectations you have as a player for games now compared to when World of Tanks launched is far greater. We expect more. In some cases, some players think they're entitled to more. But that is a totally different discussion. Let's get back to chat.
I think what most people want, especially in terms of getting the premium tanks like the RCR and the Bastille and all that sort of stuff, is they just want to have a fair chance. And the way they gave out the RCR and the XMLS FPD was not a fair chance. And the lottery they did for the Irish Commander and all that, that wasn't a fair chance. But things like the long run, the boot camp, stuff like that, and the Lords of War where you get the PTL if you dedicate to getting to the rank 25, those good ways of doing things, because it requires good players will get it faster. Average players can still learn it, but they have to put a lot of time into the game, which I'm sure most of them are willing to do if they find the game fun. But if you only make the top 10 do this, then people are either going to not bother because I don't think they have a real chance, or they're going to try and rig and cheat it so they guarantee to get it. And you saw that with the average, the highest reputation over a week or whatever it was, and people cheated.
No one should be excluded from getting vehicles, but there should be unique skins or insignias or camouflages for the sort of top ranked teams that want to make the effort and spend time. There should be no tank in this game that should not be achievable by your average player or people who play PvE or PvP.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what they're doing with the Sabre. From I can't remember where I read it, and I posted a link somewhere. They actually are going to be doing 2 versions of the Sabre. One for those who get to rank level 25, and the other one for, I'm assuming, who win the season win streak on each of the maps. So there's 11 special Sabres, and then an infinite number of regular Sabres for me, you, Joe Blogs down the street. And that's a good way of doing it.
I mean, to be honest, there was we were talking about at my end as well about that. Well, I made a massive point of that as well when I was talking to people on our Skype. And that's the way it needs to go. And I spoke to other people about it, and that's the way they need to go. They cannot segregate the average player, the beginner player, and the high-end player. And they cannot just give, all right, here you go. If you win this, you'll get this tank. They can't do that. If they do that, you're just gonna you need to cater for them. Like I said before, you need to cater for the main player base, which is the average player. You can give them all like, wow, he's done so well. Look at him. He's got X and X. He's got, wow, that decal looks really cool. Blah 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 blah. That's what they need to do with the. Don't gift them super exquisite tanks, which are just like, in my opinion, would be OP. I don't know if they're OP or not, because I've heard it's OP, but I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, just a general question quickly, where you guys can consider while we carry on talking. Kisara453 asks, how is the Leo 2A5? Anyone got some really good thoughts or comments on the Leo 2A5?
Ammunition capacity is a little bit low for my liking. Quite mobile. Side armor is very weak, so be careful of that. But the gun and frontal armor is very strong.
Yeah, just most main battle tanks, to be honest, guys, if you don't know, most modern main battle tanks are designed to go hull down. So if you keep that in mind, the only problem with going hull down in this game, the maps, there's very few places to do it. So that's another map problem which we were talking about earlier. So what do you guys think about that?
I don't know. I think if you encourage people going hull down, it's going to encourage people camping. It's going to make gameplay more static.
Yes.
Well, that's all down to the map.
Yeah.
That's what I said about the maps.
I think right now, what you need to get to are light tanks. That's the class that really needs the love in PvP, because the maps are too small for them to perform their flanking role effectively. They can do it, but it relies on incompetence. Yeah. Well, not necessarily a direct buff, but just in terms of map design. Like with Frontline. It wasn't a buff to the light tank class specifically, but it's a light tank friendly map. but need to incorporate elements of that map into all the others. Because currently, light tanks can only use their advantage through the incompetence of the enemy team, which isn't how it should be.
Yeah, true. Hang on then, let's have a quick few more questions here. Great name.
Haha, great.
Like that one.
Great name.
I like that you can see any of the tanks the game has to offer in any given battle. You can counter them, unlike the other tank game. Load up a tier 8 tank and you know what you're going to be encountering 9 times out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah, IS-3s, Ramatar Ballistics, E-75s, yep, SD-1s.
Scallywag says you definitely need skill on this game more than the other game, yeah. Although there's a little bit of pixel hunting going on in this game at the moment, but I think they are going to address that as updates go on. And I think that is mainly to do with tier 9 and tier 10 balancing.
Yeah, as you get higher up the tiers, the gap between the tiers gets considerably worse.
And Garzini, who is primarily Elite Dangerous player, but he's come across to AW and I think he's enjoying it.
Cool.
What's the role of the MBT at tier 4? That's a very good question.
That was what we were talking
Think
about
of
earlier.
it less as a heavy tank and more a medium. Think it was a big light tank at tier 4. They're very mobile and you've got to use that. You know, your armor can bounce autocannons from the front if you play it right. But you should assume that every round that hits your armor is going to go straight through.
Yeah.
Because you're going to last a lot longer if you do that. Especially with the Leopard.
Yes. Yeah.
And the OF-40. But the Leopard, on that plus side, I was doing Lords of War yesterday. We've done our... sorry, talk about Lords of War. We went with 5 Leos, and those things can go through the upper front plate of a... like the
T-62?
Yeah. No, well, the T-62 as well. They can go through, they can eat that apart. The gun on the Leo 1A5 is just awesome. It's a really good,
you're
strong
doing tier
gun.
5 one, are you? Right.
Yeah,
The 1A5 is the best thought as a sniper.
Yeah, that is just that tank is awesome at tier 3. It's really good.
I actually really like it. It's actually great fun.
Just going to a few comments here. Gal says, Cal, can you turn the game sound down at all? It may be a little bit loud.
Right,
and
okay.
the other comment that Will said that the flash sale was a disaster.
It was.
For my comment. I think we can all agree with that one. I mean, I was lucky. I was one of those fast clickers that got the full wolf pack at the full 80% discount. And really benefited from it. But I know a lot of people got disappointed by that.
I was quite salty at that splash sale because a month before I bought the wolf pack at full price.
Yeah, a lot of people.
And a month later, you're now going to buy with 80% discount. Sorry,
sort of made that up there with the gold event where you buy your gold and then you get it refunded. So effectively, if you've bought enough gold to buy all the various packs, you've got that gold refunded. So you've technically got those vehicles for free.
Exactly. I think they made amends for it in the end.
Yeah.
Shall we go on? What's our next topic of discussion? I think we were talking about Lords of War, so should we go on and have a little bit of a chat about Lords of War? Because that's a potentially either a nice, interesting game mode to come, or it could be, for certain servers, maybe the NA, the pair that is there.
I think Lords of War, it's going to... I don't think it's going to be the death of NA, simply because it's a seasonal thing.
Yeah.
And you'll see a drop in population while people are grinding to level 25. But as soon as they got to level 25, you're going to get, 60-70% of the player base coming back to PvP, or whatever mode they previously played. It's not going to be a permanent diff population.
Okay, well, one thing that concerns me is, in my opinion, Lords of War is more of that endgame sort of activity.
Yeah.
You know, whether it is teams, and they don't have to be battalion teams, it can be just a team of friends. Reputation earned in Lords of War. I mean, personally, I don't think you should be able to grind a tank out in Lords of War.
No.
But the devs have put some feedback on the forums, I think, fairly recently, where they are going earned and balancing it to be equivalent to PvP. So, I don't think that's a good thing, but ultimately it's their game. They have to do what they want to do with it. But what's your opinions on these guys?
I think it's a tough subject because reputation is great at tanks. I'm with you on that, but reputations for crews. Because if someone has to grind out their crew to level 5 to be competitive, which is what you're going to have to do,